Hi, my name is Lyric Drillis. The group principle that I chose to present was the group principle of communication. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? In this presentation, I will be discussing the group dynamic principle of communication. I will be discussing the importance of communication in the group setting as well as different forms of communication and what it takes to be a great communicator. So, communication itself is defined as the transactional process of simultaneously creating, interpreting, and negotiating shared meaning through interaction, as cited from the textbook, page 51. Communication is a daily part of life, whether we choose to communicate via social media apps like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, etc., or in person. The matter of the fact is, most of the time we utilize both forms of this communication in order to communicate with people. So communication in a group is vital for it to succeed. For this to happen, group members must actively listen to their peers. That means that we're not talking over someone. We are actively listening to everything that they have to say, whether we agree or disagree with it. Clear communication is crucially important because it makes sure that there's no confusion within a group. And it's nice to know that people communicate in different ways. So the way that their actions are might be the way that they're communicating. So just keep that in mind. So imagine this, you're in a group and you're a leader. You tell your group that they have a project due. However, you neglect to specify when the project is due. You wanted the project to be done tomorrow, but you see the problem there. This is an example of how lack of clear communication can severely hinder a group. There are many different forms of communication that a group may use, such as instant messaging, email, Skype, Google Docs, Zoom, etc., Google presentation, and much more in order to actively communicate their ideas with each other, as cited from our textbook, pages 62 to 63. In person, they may utilize face-to-face or group meetings. Being able to communicate their ideas at the same time is crucial if something, and especially if something comes up in a group, say that their deadline has been shortened, and that really is where these aspects of communication comes in handy. And the image is sourced from canyons.edu. In conclusion, the aspect of communication and group dynamics is crucially important. Think about it for a minute. You wouldn't want a dentist and his hygienist to have a lack of communication when performing a cleaning or something as extreme as getting a tooth pulled. It wouldn't make any sense. And this same idea can be applied for group communication. If one little thing is misinterpreted or not communicated well enough, it could really break the project's entire idea. And there are many different forms of communication, such as email, instant messaging, Skype, social media, and more. For a group to be great at communication, they must actively listen and must clearly communicate their ideas to avoid things like conflict and confusion. So before I end my presentation, I leave you with this statement. No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it, by Isaac Newton, and that is sourced from tameday.com. Thank you for tuning into my presentation, and I hope you learned more about communication and the group dynamic principle.